eating dung and drinking piss. But Rabshakeh said unto them, Hath my master sent me to thy master, and to thee, to speak these words? Hath he not sent me to the men which sit on the wall, that they may eat their own dung, and drink their own piss with you? 2 Kings 18:27. Comment. Whatever moral lesson an adult might gain from such questionable verses, one can only wonder. How many parents realize that their children, who might come across such filthy passages, could get the wrong message? Any mention of eating feces and drinking urine in any secular writing would get considered obscene and sick by any righteous-minded Christian. Then why should it not receive the same consideration, if found in a Bible? Might we ask what artistic or social value this verse presents? Note the word piss stands as one of the censored vulgar words of the public television industry. If Christians wish to censor such language from secular sources, then it behooves them to give themselves as an example and thus censor the obscene verses from their own Bible. See also Isaiah 36:12. Boil and eat your son. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son, and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him, and she hath hid her son. 2 Kings 6:28-29. Comment. According to the Bible, a horrible famine took place in Samaria where in desperation, the people ate whatever they could. The cannibalistic eating of a son may provide sufficient nutrition for a mother but disregards the puissant nature of humans to protect their young. Although the Bible does not explain if the son had already died or if the parent deliberately killed him for food, this dreadful example goes against human nature. Long before Bibles or written language, humans evolved as social animals that required the protection of their offspring. Only the dogmatic insistence of a belief system could supersede the natural instincts of humans. Hopefully readers of the Bible who might one day experience a famine will not subvert their natural instinct for this kind of horrific example in Scripture. May I suggest that, if you cannot control your belief to eat your children, sacrifice your priest and eat him instead. That way you gain far more protein for you and your children, and when you say grace, you'll have someone to really thank for your food. Expose her breasts. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make the vile, and will set thee as gazing stock. Nahum 3:5-6. Look, I am against you, declares Yahweh Sabaoth. I shall lift your skirts as high as your face and show your nakedness to the nations, your shame to the kingdoms. I shall pelt you with filth. Nahum 3:6, the New Jerusalem Bible. Comment. Some think these verses describe a genius of a poet. If judged as such, it can only come from its sharpness and vividness. But it also describes vulgarity and hatred, even if it aims against the harlotry of the city of Nineveh. Few scholars today believe that these verses come as a direct quote from God. But a fundamentalist who believes every word of the Bible must also accept these words as godly. If so, then how can one not see God in a cruel vulgar light? Filth here refers to dying. See also Malachi 2:2-3, where God says, I will corrupt your seed, and spread dung upon your faces. Fatal orgasm. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Genesis 38:7-10. Comment. The term onanism, from the name Onan, has come to stand for masturbation, which has suffered a fate similar to sodomy in the sense that it has evolved to have a meaning far different from its original usage. Dictionaries define onanism as male masturbation or uncompleted coitus. According to interpretations of the Bible, Onan removed his penis from his partner's vagina before he ejaculated so that his seed fell onto the ground. This displeased God so much that he killed him. Onanism has also received another definition of self-pollution which has caused misery throughout the centuries. God killed Onan because, rather than to impregnate his brother's wife, thus extending his line, Onan chose to interrupt his coitus before he could impregnate Tamar. Onan had a logical reason for doing so, one that involved Jewish law of those ancient days. During biblical times, any child born to the wife of the eldest son died without heirs, and if his wife had no children sired by a relative of her dead spouse, then the dominance would pass to the second son. Onan stood to lose a great deal if he complied with his father's order. Had he been asked to marry his brother's wife, thus transferring her to his possession, he no doubt would have completed the act. Then the resultant child would have been his, legally as well as physically. Sometime during the centuries, the character of the sinful act was changed. Instead of being recognized as a seldom performed interrupting of coitus, it became accepted as any form of self-stimulation that resulted in orgasm, and the entire character of the deed became altered. Onanism came to mean a sinful act of masturbation. This has resulted in a general bad impression of masturbation even in secular beliefs. For example, many a parent has told his son not to masturbate for fear of going blind. I masturbated only until I needed glasses. Edition right Fecal disposal. And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon, and it shall be, when thou wilt ease thyself abroad, thou shalt did therewith, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee, for the Lord thy God walketh in the midst of thy camp, to deliver thee, and to give up thine enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in thee, and turn away from thee. Deuteronomy 23:13-14. Comment. These verses ask us to believe that God has concern for fecal waste disposal outside a military camp, because God personally wishes to walk within the camp. Now really. God-given hemorrhoids. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. Deuteronomy 28:27. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, and he destroyed them, and smote them with hemorrhoids, even right Ashdod and the coasts thereof. I Samuel 5:6. And it was so right that, after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction, and he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had hemorrhoids in their secret parts. I Samuel 5:9. Comment. When Israel felt rebellious against God's plan, he threatened them with type of plague, hemorrhoids, or by today's terminology, hemorrhoids. No wonder why so many atheists consider God a pain in the ass. But then again, Christians